Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the mysterious world of Navy conspiracies. From the secret missions to the unexplained sightings, there's more beneath the surface than you might think. Let's uncover the truth behind some of the most integral naval secrets. Stay tuned.
Did you know that they just discovered a massive ocean beneath the Earth's crust? It's pretty mind-blowing. Scientists have found an ocean 430 miles beneath the Earth's surface. Imagine that, an ocean within an ocean. This discovery is making people wonder if the Agartha theory could be real. According to this theory, there's a legendary city located deep within the Earth's core. It makes you think, how can there be another ocean hidden inside the one we already know?
Saltwater,
this new ocean is said to be so vast that if you combined the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, it would still be 3 times larger. That's crazy, right? It's got everyone questioning everything we thought we knew about the oceans. So they reached the bottom of the ocean, expecting it to end, but instead they found another one. This opens up a ton of questions. And if there's water beneath the ocean floor, could there also be land beneath it? Some are even connecting this to the biblical flood. Where did all that water go? People actually think there might be land beneath this ocean, as there's way too much space for nothing to be there.
So you actually believe Atlantis is a real place?
Joe, I don't believe it. I know it. It all started when I was a member of Navy SEAL Team 5 back in '06.
Man, this junk looks so
A part of our
stupid.
training process as SEALs was performing deep sea dives. We would routinely dive to depths of nearly 400 meters, oftentimes with just one partner alongside us. Well, one day we were sailing on our carrier in the Mediterranean Sea, just north of Libya. The Admiral ordered my squad member Jackson and I to get off the ship, dive to 350 meters, and come back within the hour. At first it went like any other dive. The water was extremely frigid and murky, but it wasn't anything we weren't used to. However, when we finally got to the bottom, we noticed something strange in the coral surrounding us. The coral seemed to be formed unnaturally, as if it was shaped in a pillared archway. Jackson and I got closer to inspect, and as we picked off pieces of coral, we realized we were uncovering what looked to be the ruins of a giant gateway. We then signaled to each other to ram the decrepit stone gates, which easily crumbled after applying some force. Joe, I'm still in disbelief about what we found beyond those gates. Lying ahead of us was a sprawling ancient city, filled with towering marble buildings which were wrapped in luminescent seaweed. At the center of the city was a massive stone castle that sat right behind a statue of Poseidon. Jackson and I were astonished. Somehow we had found the lost city of Atlantis. But we knew we couldn't spend much time there because our oxygen tanks were nearly depleted. So we decided to quickly enter a few of the ancient buildings to see what we could find. Eventually, we came across the city's massive ancient library. In the center of the library, a large book with the letter A on the front was being prominently displayed. I made the decision to take the book with me, thinking it could contain some answers about the mystery of the lost city. By then, our oxygen tanks were almost completely empty, so we started our ascent to the surface. When we got back, we excitedly told our admiral about what we had saw and showed him the book. The admiral snapped at us, telling us we were speaking nonsense and that we saw no such thing. In a fury, he took the book from my hand and tossed it overboard. He said it was dangerous for a Navy SEAL to believe in such fairy tales, and warned us that we could be dishonorably discharged if we kept speaking about it. Joe, I truly believe the admiral was trying to hide something from us that day. Atlantis is really out there, but they're trying to keep it from us for a reason that I don't know.
Here's the real reason why the Titan submarine went down on its way to the Titanic. The fucking PlayStation controller that controls the sub ran out of fucking battery, and Mom forgot to pack the fucking charger.
The CIA doesn't want people to know about this secret island. It's called Diego Garcia and is located in the Indian Ocean.
Oh, we already saw this.
In
NASA knows where the Leviathan is and doesn't want you to know.
Oh, Jesus.
NASA used to be a marine exploration organization from the late 1950s to the early 1970s.
Yeah,
However, at the end of
true.
June, many confidential files were leaked by a former NASA employee, the most notable being Operation Leviathan. In 1967, NASA launched a mission to find the Leviathan once and for all. On March 1st of that year, they launched a specialized fleet of 11 research vessels, and for more than a year, these ships scoured the oceans for signs of the Leviathan. On August 12, 1968, they found something astonishing in a remote part of the Pacific Ocean near the Mariana Trench. their sonar equipment detected what appeared to be a kind of enormous underwater serpent, living thousands of feet below the surface and measuring more than 300 feet in length. This information was kept secret for decades, but was testified under oath before the jury, so lying would be a crime. But the most shocking thing is that photos and videos were revealed. If you want to see them, click on this icon, select more, and comment below, and I will upload them.
Part 2 of me explaining.
Damn, we're part
the
1.
Morning Kingdom. Okay, so I'm gonna take it back to biblical times. There was something called Nephilim. Nephilim were giants who lived in the time of King David HaMelech. The word Nephilim translates into fallen ones.
Yes, angels.
Now, God wanted to destroy the earth. This
Yes.
is times of Noah's Ark.
Exactly.
Now, these Nephilim mated with daughters of man.
Yes.
So these giants mated with humans, and God was pissed about that. Now, when he destroyed the world, there were Nephilim that survived. And considering these Nephilim could survive underwater, they could breathe underwater, so of course some of them are going to survive. Now, another biblical reference was Dagon. Dagon, Dag, if you take the word Dag in Hebrew, means fish. So there was this deity or this god, which obviously wasn't a god, it was like a demon, and people would worship this this false idol.
Okay.
Now, the depiction of him and why he's called Dagon is because he's a merman. He's half fish and half human. Hence the name Dagon. Now, after all of these biblical events, there were other cultures that came out and said that they saw or depicted a lost city, like the lost city of Atlantis. There's also movies like Star Wars that basically depict the imagery of the Magic Kingdom. Now, it's disguised as fiction, but that's just a psychological tactic that the occultists and elites use. So we just think, oh, this is fake. This is just a movie.
Right.
And that's called predictive programming. However, a producer from the movie, Gary Kurtz, had ties with Freemasonry,
Lord, here we go.
occultism, and all of that. Now, if you know anything about occultism, you know that they all know the secrets of the mysticisms in the world. Now, this Marine Kingdom has a hierarchy that is connected to the sin of man. There's a Javanese community in which they talk about a mermaid that's known by the Queen of India. Now, her name is Kajang Ratu Kidul.
Oh man,
They
I gotta
describe
go
her as a
research
highly
it.
malevolent creature, mermaid,
Yes.
that can only be calmed down from extreme ritualistic worship. I'm running out of time, part 3.
Does
I
the
think
Navy
that's some
know
of that
whether or
truth
not
in
this
there, so
happened?
it's hard to-
Overwhelmingly, yes. As with all things related to the Navy or the DoD or anything related to national security, these are just my opinions. So here's the big question. Does the United States Navy listen to everything that happens underwater everywhere? The answer is yes. The United States Navy has something called the EARS program. What an appropriate acronym. It listens to everything on the floor of the ocean at various depths, and it's listening for mostly enemy submarines. These are microphones and hydrophones that can pick up sonar and sometimes even underwater earthquakes. And according to SOSUS, sometimes they'll even listen to whales, getting absolutely freak nasty. Also, can you imagine that being part of your job, listening to whales do it? But I digress.
Oh
The
my
submersible
God.
in question is approximately 1,200 cubic feet of air in a carbon and titanium tube being squeezed on all sides by 6,000 pounds per square inch of ocean pressure. If it was compromised in any way, it would make a very big boom and we would know about it. But for secrecy reasons, the Navy won't tell you.
For sure.
All right, little twin, fuck it.
Oh.
I'm bored of here. Let's see 5 things that
Oh
Navy won't
Lord.
tell you,
He in uniform.
but I will. Blackballing is real. If you piss one person off in the Navy, they can low key relay the message to their partner and their partner and their partner. And if they high enough in the chain of command, yes, they can cancel your ass. And they can make sure you never put on khakis. When you get in, little twin, they're gonna give you a ladder. The ladder gonna say, hey, make sure you follow this, follow this. That's putting the ceiling over your head. if you can go, I say about, if you can stay 2.5 years or 3 years ahead of your ladder, you're going to be great in this shit. The benefit is hard, but you're going to go through hell trying to get a medical or dental appointment. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hell, but it's worth the wait, I guess. It's a lot of incentives when you want to go sea duty. So if you sea duty, capitalize off it, make that money. When you're moving too fast up the ranks, they going to hate on you, my boy. Just keep going. I promise.
A deep-sea vessel caught this on film while exploring one of our vast oceans near Greenland in 2015. Wow, did you see that? It looked like some sort of ocean-dwelling humanoid with fish-like characteristics. Notice its webbed hands, big black eyes, and fish-like tail. This is probably some of the most compelling footage ever caught on camera. Stunned, the explorers quickly surfaced and began reviewing the footage, not believing what they saw. A mermaid, but this one sure didn't look like Ariel. But we as humans tend to glamorize legends to make them more appealing to the masses. Sailors and ocean-goers alike have been claiming their existence since the beginning of time. This and other evidence shows that these tales could be true.
Oh, man.
But we always got to be skeptic. What do you believe? Do you believe they caught a mermaid on camera?
Alright, so check this out. They put all of the hidden information in these kids' movies. They're telling us, you guys just have to look. So we all know the rat story in the Ice Age movies. He's always going for the nuts, right? He finds Scat Atlantis or Rat Atlantis or something like that, right?
The greed of an outsider leads to destruction of Atlantis. Look at the acorns as if it were ancient forbidden knowledge.
They put the truth is always in the details, hidden within.
Acorn here could be forbidden ancient knowledge.
Be more than a rodent, be more than a human, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
He looks anyway and sees the truth. This acorn is floating over the waters, above the waters, and guess where it fell to?
Money hungry, lust for power. Keep watching.
The waters fell to earth, losing their heavenly connections from the heavens. What if Atlantis was a place located in the waters above the firmament?
Cool. I like that.
Lakes under the sea are actually a thing. This is called a brine pool because it's so salty, nothing can survive once it goes inside. There has been eels that like to go inside for a couple of seconds to scavenge for food, come back out. Normally they die, but some of them actually just go into shock and end up surviving. As you can see right there, it just looks weird, man. It just looks weird to me. It's just like fog. Like, it just looks creepy as shit. People have tried to go down into the brine lakes with their, little submarine things that they've made where it fits like 2 men in. But they seem to bounce on top. They cannot get inside. It's like almost like a barrier. But I've got a theory. What if it's an entrance to inner Earth or any kind of like UFO, alien, like inner base? Because we've all seen the UFOs dashing into the sea. Where the fuck they going, bro? Where are they going? They're not going down there to find a fucking McDonald's. They're going somewhere. And we haven't found anything so far, any kind of like fucking underwater, space city or anything. So maybe that is like entrance, because they're all over. They're all over everywhere. But, nothing survives normally when they go inside it. So maybe that's their like way of, they can go in it and do whatever they want, but no one else can go in it because you're dead. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and share this video.
Video captured today when the ocean caught fire in the Gulf of Mexico just west of the Yucatan Peninsula. Those dramatic images of the ocean aflame quickly going viral on social media. Some people calling it an eye of fire, while others said it looked like the portal to hell opening up. The portal to hell opening up.
I don't know about that.
Pemex, the Mexican state-run oil company, says an underground natural gas pipeline sprung a leak that caused that mid-ocean fire. A number of firefighting boats pumped water onto the fire for nearly 5 hours.
I don't know why they're going to pump water onto the fire.
On the ocean, an oil platform nearby.
Why would you put it's
Damn.
in the water?
This is crazy. Listen to this true story about NASA. In 1975, NASA launched Project Triton. aiming to explore the ocean's deepest realms. At 20,000 feet, the submersible Triton discovered an enormous glowing structure of unknown origin. As they approached, the structure emitted a powerful signal, causing Triton systems to fail and filling the crew with panic. Suddenly, colossal, shadowy figures, vaguely humanoid and glowing, encircled Triton. All contact was lost. A rescue mission found Triton intact but empty. The recovered footage showed these creatures communicating through complex light patterns, hinting at an advanced underwater civilization. NASA, fearing the potential threat, classified the mission and abandoned ocean exploration, deeming the depths too dangerous. They shifted focus back to the cosmos, leaving the ocean's mysteries untouched. The eerie events of Project Triton remain a classified enigma, a stark reminder of the unknown dangers lurking in Earth's final frontier.
This is the most dangerous part of the ocean, and you've never heard of it. While at first glance this area appears to be just a dark spot in the ocean, in truth it is actually something far more sinister. This is the Blue Hole in Belize, a cavernous sinkhole in shallow waters. The depth of the hole is unknown, which is why diver Marcus Robertson wanted to be the first one to go to the bottom of the massive sinkhole. The year was 1998, and Marcus and his team were ready to be the first people to ever see what secrets were being hidden underneath the massive hole. Little did they know the tragedy that would come. When diving, Marcus was equipped with a small microphone to communicate to the surface if things went wrong. His dive began well, and Marcus descended into the darkness bearing a large flashlight to see what was down there. For the first few minutes, everything went smoothly, and Marcus noted that he saw some smaller fish. However, at 13 minutes, things took a turn for the worse. You see, inside the sinkhole, there are large concentrations of nitrogen narcosis, a chemical compound which alters human consciousness and makes them hallucinate. This is exactly what happened to Marcus, claiming to see giant creatures lurking below him. Then before his cord was mysteriously broken, he shouted, "Shark! Shark! There's a 60-foot megalodon beneath me." Those were Marcus's last words. To see pictures of the giant shark, simply click share. Then more. Then photos.
Nope. Have you heard about the secret underwater civilization theory?
No.
Yeah. Apparently everybody's been searching for the secret Atlantis, right? We've been hearing it everywhere. Apparently there's some strange activity in one of the most barren places on the planet, the South Pacific Ocean. Some people might think it's somewhere out in the desert in Madagascar or Africa, but one of the most isolated places on the entire planet is in the middle of the ocean. And strangely enough, plethora of military activity goes on in such a remote, vast area. The United States conducts hundreds, if not thousands, of military and aerial drills around the area. So what's up with all the suspicion? Well, people think that there's an underwater civilization where alien UFOs and aircraft go down to visit and stay at while they stay here for the time being. So much so, people think that there's a military organization that constantly transfers and communicates with this civilization. That's why in so many places like California, people have reported so much military activity going out in the ocean. Even pilots notice this and say that frequently they can't visit certain area of the South Pacific or coast of California because of so many numerous military exercises going on. So what's the whole mystery behind the South Pacific Ocean, and what's really going down in the depths?
So while we're on the topic of terrible things the Navy does, I have some more stuff for y'all. So they do these things called shock trials where they basically detonate bombs at different distances from the carrier. So it'll be like 500 meters, 300 meters, 100 meters. Three bombs. And they do this to try to train the soldiers like what they should do in the case of an actual attack, like how to get off the ship, how to repair things, and that whole practice. But they're literally detonating bombs in the ocean, which means you're killing the animals, they are destroying the vegetation, destroying habitats, and then completely just sending out, noise pollution all over the place, which is destroying the animals. They're also destroying their vessel, which means, that's more resources going into that, plus the shrapnel that flies out and pollutes the ocean, plus the bombs and all of their chemicals polluting the ocean. Plus, it's literally so bad for the soldiers. It's like their lives are at risk for no reason. It is 2021. We have virtual reality. They got to figure something else out because this is awful.
I told one of my followers I would talk about what I was told back in, when I was in the military about the blood thing. I don't remember if I told my ex-husband about this.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think I did. Because he didn't believe anything I said anyway. He was too caught up with himself. in 2009, I was stationed at Fort Story. I wrote it on the thing, but you know what? People tend to want to listen to a video rather than a written thing. So I was stationed Fort Story, Virginia, Little Rock. I would go back and forth to Dam Neck.
Okay.
Oceana Dam Neck, Fort Story, Little Rock, and there's a NCIS, and I worked for NCIS, and I would do medic work. I sometimes trained the medics and everything. Whenever they need somebody or somebody was out on vacation, I volunteered a lot of work, a lot of stuff, because I have such a big. I had night trauma nurse training. I have all kinds of experience, like I said before, and you know, gosh, I had my lifeguard, everything. I could do all kinds of stuff, and I'm very fit, so I always maxed out my PT, you know, everything, and then I got assigned to do some work at Quantico and with the Marines for a couple weeks during their they had some training weapons things they had to do, and I was the head medic. So, which was really nice because I thought, you know, they were really cool to work with, you know. But I would have to drive to Quantico, and then I'd have to go back to Little Rock to go and sign in and everything. And I got to make this quick because I don't want it to be long.
Please.
They had to do some reevaluations on people's physical and stuff, and I had already done mine. They already had my blood and all that stuff, and I was asked to do it all over again anyway. And some of my battle buddy was there, and some of the other people that I worked with in my command, and I was like, well, I don't want to do all this because I already did it. And they said, well, you might as well do it. Then you won't have to do it when it pops up again. You'll be because it was in a few months. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm already here. Because I actually lived in Ohio and I had to come out all the way to Virginia. So we were going through all the stages because you have to go through all the little stages and everything. And it was lunchtime. And once lunchtime, we had cut you off and you have to do lunch and then go back to where you left off. Well, when there was lunch, there was a civilian contractor there, and it was a female, and she had called me over, but there was nobody around her. She was at the table, and this is some weird stuff. She called me over, and I thought, okay, she just, wants to talk to me or whatever. She had my file. I'm like, how did she have my file? She dug around and had my file, and I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't think anything of it. She grabbed my hands and started telling me about my family, my history, I'm talking stuff that they don't know. I don't know, maybe they did. I know they did a really thorough, they had to do the background and everything, go talk to people before I became commissioned and an officer and all that stuff. And I had secret clearance and all that stuff, but some of the stuff she shouldn't have known. It was personal stuff about the abuse and some of the really bad stuff that I had gone through as a child. I'm just going, how does she know this stuff? Now I'm starting to think that it's like some kind of clairvoyant doing some tarot crap on me because I'm, Christian. I don't want to mess that stuff. And I'm like thinking, man, don't touch me because you got some demonic stuff on you. Don't be putting your spirits on me. But she wasn't reading my palm or anything like that. She was holding my hand. It was like she was reading me or something. And she said, your blood, it's generational. Your blood you have something in your blood. And I went, well, what do aren't you here to get my blood? Is this what you're talking?
Stop the cap.
What the heck this woman was talking about. She was starting to freak me out and give me the heebie-jeebies. And I looked over my shoulder to see where my battle buddy was at. She's standing in line. I'm thinking, woman, what'd you come over here and say?
This is very controversial, but there's a possibility the Kraken was either real and it could still possibly be real.
So you know what I think the Kraken was?
What?
I think the Kraken was just a giant squid.
A giant squid?
Yeah.
I think so too.
I agree.
But I remember scientists found fossils of a giant suction cup like tentacle, but it was like way bigger.
I mean, I believe it because like we had megalodons, we had titanoboas.
Everything was bigger back then.
Everything was just bigger. So I believe it. Like, why wouldn't there be a giant squid?
Yeah, that's true. And it's like I seen a video, bro. It was like maybe a couple years ago. A fisherman fished out a 20-foot great white shark, but it was only the head, and the rest of the body was bitten off. So it was like, what is biting this fish like in half? And then recently there was a pod of pilot whales, 100 of them. They was in Australia. They kept swimming and beaching themselves. And when the people would come and save them and like bring them back in the water, they would just keep coming back. And like 50 of them died, and they had to bring the rest of them and put them in captivity. And the scientist was like, this is really weird because usually whales only beach themselves if it was like bad navigation, like the leader of the whales is just going in the wrong direction is by accident, or if there's like hunting off the shores, hunting them. So they're saying like a great white shark was not able to do nothing like that. So it's like, what is out there that's that big that is either hunting them down or just like chasing them into...
I'm with you. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Navy conspiracy, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening content. Have your own theories? Drop them in the comments below. I love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.